Good day everyone. Welcome back to the Azure Database Watcher Series. In today's video, we are diving into something super exciting, Azure Database Watcher, using the free tier Azure Data Explorer Cluster. If you're looking to monitor your databases effectively in Azure, this tool is a game changer. We will walk through a step-by-step setup of Azure Database Watcher, and here is the best part. We will be using the free tier Azure Data Explorer Cluster as a data store for collecting and storing your monitoring data. Yup, totally free. Whether you're just getting started with Azure monitoring or looking to optimize your existing setup without extra cost, this video is for you. So make sure to watch till the end and follow along with the demo. If you find this video helpful, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon so you won't miss any of our upcoming videos in the Azure Database Watcher series. All right, let's jump right in and get started. I already have a database watcher created. Yep, that uses an paid Azure Data Explorer cluster. So this video we will try creating another database watcher. I will use the existing resource group called JBDB Watcher. Let's name it as JB Watcher Free and just put the name as this. And then let's click on next. And then I will leave the things here as default. Let's click on next. And as for the data store, last time what we have done is like we just left the default setting here and then name the cluster to a different one. But this time what I'm going to do is like I'm going to click on select the data store and then click on add. And then what I'm going to do is like I'm going to select this option which is called free tier Azure Data Explorer. So that's the difference between our previous deployment and this deployment. Yeah, let's name it as JB Cluster Free. Yeah, and I will name it as JBDB Free. Yeah, and cluster location. Let's so we have these three options. So let me select South Central US. Yeah, and let's select by clicking create. Let's agree to the terms and services and then click on create and select. Let's wait for this to get created and then we'll take it from there. So if you can see here, this is created now. Yeah, let's click on next. I'm not going to add any SQL targets as of now. Let's create the database watcher. Once it is created, we will try adding a Azure SQL database into that. Okay, let's click on create and then let's wait for it to complete. The deployment is complete now. Yeah, let's go to the resource. So let's look at the data store first. If you can see here, we are using the JB cluster free cluster, which is basically the free tier Azure Data Explorer cluster. Yeah. So now what I'm going to do is like I'm going to add Azure SQL database into the SQL target. And the Azure SQL database that I'm going to add is this one, JB Bank. Yeah, this is the database that I'm going to add to the database watcher. So what we'll do now, before performing the add, let's grant access to that particular database. Let's click on this one, Azure SQL database and Elastic Pool with Microsoft Entra authentication. Let's select that. Let me copy it. And then what I'll do is like I will put it in the SQL Server Management Studio connected to the JB Bank database, which we are going to add it. So let's execute this query. It's created now. Let's look at the login once. Yep, JB Watcher Free is created. Now what we'll do is like let's click on add here. Yeah, and then select resource type as SQL database. Let's select the subscription here. Now let's select the required server and then the database. Yeah. I'm not going to select read intent or SQL authentication because I'm going to use the Microsoft Entra authentication. Let's click on add. The target is added. So what we'll do now is like, let's look at the dashboard and then see if JB Bank is visible there. Let's go to the dashboard. If you see here, we don't see the database that we have added in the SQL target getting reflected here. And the reason for that is like this is very, very specific to the Azure Data Explorer Cluster, which is a free tier. Yeah. So what we need to do is like we basically have to give permission to the database watcher identity onto that free tier Azure Data Explorer Cluster. We need to provide the access, and then we will be able to see the added SQL database onto the dashboard. Yeah, if you look at this article here, so this is the command that we'll be using to provide access. So we have this information here that if we use the real-time analytics or a free Azure Data Explorer cluster, we will have to provide that. Yeah. So now what I'm going to do is like I'm going to copy this command, and then what I'll do is like let's go to the data store here, and then click on that cluster. And once the cluster is connected, what we'll do is like let's paste that command here. Yep, it is pasted. So now the first thing is like we know that the database name is JBDB free. So what you can do is like you can click on your own cluster and then get the name of the database, yeah, and then put that database name here. In my case, it is JBDB free, yeah, and then as far as the identity principal ID placeholder is concerned, we will get that information from the DB Watcher resource. Go to the identity, and then you will have this value. Yeah, you just copy it, and then you can put that across. Yeah. Now for the tenant primary domain placeholder, what you need to do is like you need to go to Microsoft Entra ID. Yeah, you just click on that, and then you will see a value here as far as primary domain is concerned, right? So you just need to copy that. Yep, and then what you need to do is like you need to put that in the query here. Yep. Once this is done, what we'll do is like let's execute it. Yep, it's executed now. Now what we'll do is like let's go back to our database watcher, and then I don't think it requires a reset, but I'm going to stop and start it. Yeah. Once it comes online, what I will do is like I will look at the dashboard and then see if we are able to get that SQL database that was added in the SQL targets on the dashboard. Let's have a look on that. Okay, it is stopped now. Let me start it. Yep, let's wait for it to come online and then let's look at the dashboard. It's running now. Yeah, I've started it and it's running now. Let's go to the dashboard. If you see here, we are able to see the Azure SQL database JB Bank after we have provided the required access for the database watcher's identity on the free tier Azure Data Explorer cluster. Yeah, so you can see that JB Bank. So it proves that after we provided the access, everything is working fine as expected. That's it for this video. Thanks for watching. Have a great day. Jai Hind.